words. Today, we are going to understand the real story of Tom Holland. The boy before Spider-Man. The boy before fame. The boy before Hollywood. The boy who started with dance, family, school, auditions, pressure, hard work, and a dream that later became bigger than he ever imagined. Most people know Tom Holland as Spider-Man. They know his red suit. They know his funny interviews. They know his friendship with other Marvel actors. They know his movies, his fame, his fans, his success, and his rich lifestyle. But before all of that, Tom was just a young boy from England. He was not born in Hollywood. He did not start life as a superstar. He was not born with millions of dollars. He was not born with a superhero name. He was a normal boy with a creative family, a lot of energy, and one small talent that slowly opened the biggest doors of his life. And that is what makes his story so interesting. Because Tom Holland's life did not change in one day. His journey moved step by step, from dance class to theater, from theater to movies, from movies to auditions, from auditions to Spider-Man, from Spider-Man to worldwide fame. And the most amazing part is this. Before he became Spider-Man, he had already spoken about wanting to play Spider-Man one day. It almost feels like he manifested it. He put that dream into the world. Then he worked, trained, waited, auditioned, and finally became the Spider-Man of a new generation. In this biography, we will talk about everything. His childhood, his family, his school life, his dance journey, his theater days, his first big movie, his Spider-Man journey, his money and success, his personal life, his struggles, his personality, his relationship with fame, and the real person behind the superhero image. If you are learning English, this video will also help you improve. Listen carefully. Try to understand the story. Repeat some powerful sentences. Learn useful words like childhood, family, theater, audition, actor, performance, fame, career, success, struggle, confidence, and opportunity. Do not only watch this as a biography, use it as English practice also. And if you enjoy simple, interesting, and meaningful biography videos, please like this video, subscribe to this channel, and keep learning with me. Part 1. The Boy Before the Superhero. Tom Holland's full name is Thomas Stanley Holland. He was born on June 1st, 1996 in Kingston upon Thames, England. Kingston upon Thames is a town in southwest London. It is not Hollywood. It is not the place people normally imagine when they think about a global movie star. And that is why his beginning feels real. Before the cameras, before the red carpets, before Marvel, before Spider-Man, there was just a boy growing up in England with his family. Tom was born into a creative home. His mother, Nicola, worked as a photographer. His father, Dominic Holland, was a comedian, writer, and performer. So Tom grew up in a house where creativity was not strange. Stories were normal. Jokes were normal. Expression was normal. Performance was normal. This matters because childhood environment shapes a person quietly. Sometimes the child does not even realize what they are absorbing. But they are watching. They are listening. They are learning. Tom saw creativity around him from a young age. His father understood performance. His mother understood images and art. And maybe that gave Tom a natural comfort with cameras, stories, and expression later in life. Tom was also the oldest of 4 brothers. His younger brothers are Harry, Sam, and Patty. His family life was not silent or lonely. It was full of brotherhood, energy, competition, jokes, and noise. And when people watch Tom's interviews today, they often notice something about him. He does not feel like a cold celebrity. He feels playful. He feels natural. He feels like someone who grew up in a busy family where teasing, laughing, and being active were part of daily life. That simple family energy stayed with him even after fame. But Tom's childhood was not perfect. He also faced his own difficulties. As a child, Tom had dyslexia. Dyslexia can make reading and learning harder. And for a child, that can be painful. Because when you struggle in school, you may start comparing yourself with others. You may feel slow. You may feel different. You may feel like people do not understand you. But Tom's life shows something very human. A person can struggle in one area and still shine in another area. School may be difficult. Reading may be difficult. But that does not mean the person has no talent. Sometimes the talent is not sitting quietly in a notebook. Sometimes the talent is moving, dancing, performing, acting, feeling, expressing. And for Tom Holland, movement became very important. When he was young, Tom started dancing. He joined a hip-hop dance class when he was around 9 years old. At that time, nobody knew this small decision would change his whole life. He was not thinking, "One day I will become Spider-Man." He was not thinking, "One day I will become famous around the world." He was just a child dancing, learning steps, moving his body, enjoying the rhythm, practicing something he liked. But life can change from small things. A small hobby can become a career. A normal class can become a turning point. A simple performance can become the first door to a bigger life. And that is exactly what happened. Tom performed with his dance school. During one performance, his talent was noticed. People connected to the theater world saw something in him. Not a perfect star, not a fully trained actor, not a ready-made celebrity, but a spark, a natural energy, a boy who could move, a boy who could perform, a boy who had something interesting. That moment helped him get connected to auditions for Billy Elliot the musical. Billy Elliot is a famous story about a young boy who wants to dance. And suddenly, Tom, a real young boy who loved movement, was stepping toward a role that also needed dance, emotion, and courage. But this was not easy. Tom did not get everything immediately. He had to train. He had to prove himself. He had to work for it. At first, he did not have formal ballet training. Hip-hop and ballet are very different. Hip-hop has one style of movement. Ballet needs control, balance, strength, and discipline. So Tom had to learn something new. He had to change his body. He had to build skill. He had to become sharper. He had to become stronger. He had to prepare for a professional stage. This is where the real Tom Holland story begins. Not with fame, not with money, not with Marvel, but with training. A young boy practicing again and again. A young boy trying to become good enough for the stage. A young boy learning ballet, acting, movement, and performance. And remember, he was still a child. Other children could go home and relax. But Tom had rehearsals. Other children could live a normal school routine. But Tom was moving between school, training, and auditions. Other children could make mistakes privately. But Tom was preparing to perform in front of real audiences. That kind of life can be exciting, but also stressful. Because when you are young, you want to enjoy life. But if you also want something big, you must give time to it. Tom was learning that very early. He was learning discipline before the world knew him. He was learning pressure before Hollywood saw him. He was learning performance before movie cameras came. Then, in 2008, Tom Holland made his West End debut in Billy Elliot the Musical. The West End in London is one of the biggest theater areas of the world. For a young performer, this was a huge step. At first, Tom played Michael, Billy's best friend. Later, he got the main role of Billy Elliot. This was not a small achievement. This was serious theater. And theater is very different from movies. In a movie, if you make a mistake, you can shoot the scene again. But on stage, everything is live. The audience is sitting in front of you. The lights are on your face. The music starts. The scene begins. And you must perform. If you forget a line, you must continue. If you miss a step, you must recover. If you feel nervous, you must hide it and keep going. If your body is tired, you still have to give energy. That kind of training builds something strong inside a performer. It teaches timing. It teaches confidence. It teaches body control. It teaches courage. It teaches how to handle pressure. And this became very important later in Tom's career. Because Spider-Man is not only a speaking role. Spider-Man needs movement, jumping, flipping, running, falling, balancing, physical comedy, quick reactions, young energy. Tom's dance and theater background helped him become a very physical Spider-Man. He did not look stiff. He looked alive. He looked like a teenager who could really move. But at this time, Spider-Man was still far away. Tom was still a theater boy, a hard-working young performer in London. And slowly, that stage experience began preparing him for something bigger. After Billy Elliot, Tom started moving toward movies. One of his early voice roles was in the British version of The Secret World of Ariete. But his major film breakthrough came with The Impossible. This movie was based on the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami. Tom played Lucas, the oldest son in a family fighting to survive after the disaster. This was a very serious role. It was not a light comedy. It was not a simple children's movie. It was emotional, heavy, physical, painful. Tom had to act beside powerful actors like Naomi Watts and Ewan McGregor. For a young actor, that was a big challenge. He had to show fear, shock, confusion, love, responsibility, pain, hope. And he had to make it feel real. The filming was also physically difficult. There were water scenes. There were emotional scenes. There were moments where he had to look terrified and exhausted. This was not easy acting. But Tom did it with surprising maturity. When people watched The Impossible, they noticed him. They saw that he was not only a theater performer. He was not only a dancer. He could truly act. He could carry emotion. He could make people feel something. This movie became a turning point in his career. Because after The Impossible, people in the film industry started looking at him differently. He was not just a talented kid from the stage. He was becoming a serious young actor. And what makes this part of his story so interesting is how everything connected. His dance helped him get into theater. Theater gave him confidence. Confidence helped him enter film. Film gave him attention. Attention brought bigger opportunities. His life was moving step by step. Nothing happened randomly. Even the small things were preparing him. The dance class, the audition, the ballet training, the stage pressure, the emotional movie role. All of it was shaping him. Part 2. The Dream That Became Spider-Man. After The Impossible, Tom Holland was no longer just a theater boy from London. People started seeing him as a serious young actor. He had already proved that he could act with emotion. He had already proved that he could handle pressure. He had already proved that he could stand beside experienced actors and still be noticed. But even after that, he was not yet a Hollywood superstar. He was still building his career. He was still auditioning. He was still trying to find the next big step. And this is where his story becomes very interesting. Because before Tom Holland officially became Spider-Man, he once spoke about Spider-Man as a dream. In an old interview when he was still young, he said that maybe one day in the future, he could play Spider-Man. At that time, it probably sounded like a simple dream. A young actor imagining a big role. But later, that dream became real. That is why many fans say Tom Holland almost manifested Spider-Man. He spoke it. He believed it. And when the right time came, he was ready. But manifestation alone did not make him Spider-Man. He did not just sit and wait. His body was ready because of dance. His confidence was ready because of theater. His emotions were ready because of the impossible. His discipline was ready because of years of training. So, when the opportunity came, he had something to show. This is the real story. Not only dream. Preparation. In 2015, Marvel Studios and Sony Pictures were looking for a new Spider-Man. This was a huge decision. Spider-Man is not just another character. Spider-Man is one of the most loved superheroes in the world. Millions of people grew up with Spider-Man. They loved Peter Parker because he was not perfect. He was young. He was funny. He was nervous. He had school problems. He had family pain. He had responsibility. He made mistakes. He tried again. So Marvel and Sony needed someone who could feel like a real teenage Peter Parker. Not too serious. Not too old. Not too perfect. They needed someone with innocence, humor, energy, emotion, and physical ability. Many young actors wanted the role. This was not a small audition. This was a worldwide search. And Tom Holland was one of the actors fighting for it. The audition process was intense. Tom had to send audition tapes. He had to prove his acting. He had to prove his physical ability. He had to show that he could be Peter Parker and Spider-Man at the same time. And Tom did something very Tom Holland. He showed his gymnastic skills. He could flip, he could move, he could bring real physical energy to the role. That made him different. Because Spider-Man is not only a face. Spider-Man is movement. Spider-Man climbs, jumps, flips, falls, swings, and reacts quickly. Tom had the body language for it. His years of dance and theater were suddenly becoming useful in a completely new way. Then came screen tests. Screen tests are very important. This means actors perform scenes with other actors to see if they fit the movie. Tom tested with Robert Downey Jr., who played Iron Man. This was a big moment. Imagine being a young actor and standing in front of Robert Downey Jr., one of the biggest stars in the world, one of the main faces of Marvel. And you have to act naturally. You cannot look too nervous. You cannot overdo it. You must show charm. You must show confidence. You must show that you belong in that world. Tom did not only pass the test, he impressed them. He had natural chemistry with Robert Downey Jr. He felt young. He felt funny. He felt real. He felt like Peter Parker. Then he also tested with Chris Evans, who played Captain America. Again, he had to prove himself. And slowly, the people behind Marvel and Sony saw it. This young actor from England had something special. He was not trying to act like a superhero. He felt like a teenager who suddenly became a superhero. That was the magic. Then, in June 2015, the news became official. Tom Holland was announced as the new Spider-Man. His life changed forever. Think about that moment. One day, you are a young actor waiting for your next opportunity. And suddenly, the world knows you as Spider-Man. The pressure must have been huge. Because when you become Spider-Man, you do not only get a role, you get expectation, you get comparison, you get fans watching every move. You get people asking, will he be better than the last Spider-Man? Is he good enough? Can he carry the character? Can he handle Marvel? Tom was still very young, but now he was carrying one of the biggest superhero names in the world. His first appearance as Spider-Man came in Captain America: Civil War. This was smart. Marvel did not introduce him first in his own full movie. They introduced him inside a huge Avengers-level story. And when Tom appeared, fans immediately noticed him. His Spider-Man felt fresh. He was funny. He was excited. He talked too much because he was nervous. He behaved like a real teenager meeting superheroes. He was not dark and heavy. He was bright, young, awkward, and lovable. That was different. In the movie, his scenes with Tony Stark were very important. Tony Stark finds Peter Parker and brings him into the superhero world. And in real life also, it felt like Robert Downey Jr. was helping Tom Holland enter the Marvel world. Their chemistry worked. The audience believed it. And suddenly, Tom Holland became the new face of Spider-Man. But fame also came fast, very fast. People started searching his name. Fans wanted interviews. Media wanted details. Marvel fans wanted to know everything. And Tom's life was no longer simple. Before Spider-Man, he could walk around like a normal young man. After Spider-Man, people recognized him everywhere. That is a strange thing, because fame looks beautiful from outside. But from inside, fame can also be pressure. When people love you, they also watch you. When people watch you, they also judge you. When people judge you, you must grow up very fast. Tom had to learn how to be famous while still becoming an adult. Then came Spider-Man. Homecoming in 2017. This was his first solo Spider-Man movie. This movie had to prove that Tom Holland could carry Spider-Man on his own. It was not only a guest role anymore. Now the whole movie was around him. And the movie worked. Fans liked his version of Peter Parker. He felt young and real. He felt like a school student. He made mistakes. He wanted to prove himself. He wanted Tony Stark to see him as important. He wanted to become more than a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. But the movie also showed Peter learning responsibility. Tom played that mix very well. Funny, emotional, nervous, brave, and sometimes careless. People loved it because it felt human. Part 3. Fame, Marvel, money, and the person behind the mask. After Spider-Man: Homecoming, Tom Holland's life became much bigger. He was no longer just a promising young actor. He was Spider-Man for a new generation. Children loved him. Teenagers loved him. Marvel fans loved him. And even people who did not know his earlier work started recognizing his face. Then he appeared in Avengers: Infinity War. This was one of the biggest movies in Marvel history. Now Tom was acting with some of the most famous actors in the world: Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Benedict Cumberbatch, Chris Pratt, and many others. For a young actor, this was not normal. He was standing inside one of the biggest film franchises ever made. But one scene made people feel his talent deeply. When Spider-Man disappears in Infinity War, Tom's emotional acting touched millions of fans. His fear felt real. His voice felt young. His face looked scared. He made people remember that Peter Parker was still just a kid. That scene became one of the most emotional moments in the movie. It showed again that Tom Holland was not only good at action, he could make people feel pain. Then came Avengers Endgame. This movie became one of the biggest box office movies of all time. Tom's role was not the biggest in the movie, but Spider-Man's return was important to fans. By this time, Tom was already part of Marvel history. Then in 2019, Spider-Man Far From Home came out. This movie showed Peter Parker after the events of Endgame. He was still young, but now he was dealing with loss, pressure, and expectation. The world expected Spider-Man to step up. People compared him with Iron Man. And Peter did not fully know if he was ready. This part of the story matched Tom Holland's real life in an interesting way, because Tom also had huge expectations on him. He was young, he was famous. People wanted him to become the future of Spider-Man. Studios expected success. Fans expected greatness. Media expected answers. And he had to carry it all. Far From Home became a big success. It made more than $1 billion at the worldwide box office. That was a massive achievement. It showed that Tom Holland's Spider-Man was not only popular inside Marvel, he could lead a billion-dollar movie. This changed his position in Hollywood. After that, Tom was not just the new Spider-Man. He was a bankable star. That means studios knew his name could bring attention, fans, and money. Then came one of the biggest moments of his career. Spider-Man: No Way Home. This movie was not only another Spider-Man film, it became a cultural event. Fans were excited because the movie connected different Spider-Man worlds. People wanted to know if old characters would return. The mystery, rumors, and excitement became huge before the movie released. When No Way Home came out, the reaction was massive. The movie became one of the biggest hits of Tom's career. It earned huge money worldwide. It became emotional for fans because it connected nostalgia, friendship, loss, and sacrifice. Tom's Peter Parker went through deep pain in this movie. He lost people. He made difficult choices. He faced consequences. And by the end, he became more alone, more mature, and more like the classic Spider-Man many fans knew. For Tom Holland, this movie proved that he could carry not only a fun superhero role, but also emotional weight. His Spider-Man had grown, and Tom had grown with him. But behind the fame, Tom was also living a very intense life. From a young age, he was moving from one big project to another. Promotion tours, interviews, training, filming, more promotion, more films, more expectations. For normal people, fame looks like luxury. But for actors, especially young actors, fame can become exhausting. You lose privacy. People discuss your face, your body, your relationship, your mistakes, your interviews, your money, and your every move. Tom Holland has often tried to keep parts of his personal life private. This is important because being famous does not mean a person belongs to the public completely. He is an actor, but he is also a human being. He has family, he has personal feelings, he has pressure. He has days when he wants peace. Tom has also spoken openly about mental health and sobriety. He has talked about taking care of himself and understanding his own limits. At one point, after working on The Crowded Room, he spoke about how difficult the project was and how it affected him mentally. He also spoke publicly about being sober. This made many people respect him more, because it showed honesty. It showed that even someone successful, rich, famous, and loved by millions can still face personal battles. From outside, people may think, he has everything. But real life is not that simple. Money does not remove every struggle. Fame does not remove stress. Success does not remove emotional pressure. Tom's openness showed that he was trying to protect himself, not just perform for the world. That is why his biography is interesting, because he is not only the smiling Spider-Man from interviews. He is also a person learning how to live with fame, pressure, health, privacy, love, family, and responsibility. His career after Spider-Man also shows that he wanted to do different kinds of roles. He worked in films like Cherry and Uncharted. Cherry was a more serious role. Uncharted was an adventure film where he played Nathan Drake. Some projects received mixed reviews. Not every movie became loved like Spider-Man. And that is also part of his real story. Even famous actors do not win every time. Even after Marvel, every project is not automatically perfect. But Tom kept trying different things. That matters because an actor cannot stay in one suit forever. Spider-Man made him globally famous, but Tom Holland also needed to grow beyond Spider-Man. That is a difficult challenge, because when the world loves you as one character, it can be hard for them to see you as someone else. But Tom has continued to explore. Action, drama, adventure, television, producing, different kinds of stories. Tom Holland had become much more than the boy from Kingston. He had become a worldwide star, a Marvel hero, a millionaire, a red carpet name, a public figure, a private person under public attention, a young man trying to balance success with peace. And the most interesting part is this: the bigger his fame became, the more people wanted to know the real Tom behind Spider-Man. Not only the actor, not only the celebrity, not only the superhero, but the person, the son, the brother, the partner, the performer. Part 4. The man behind the fame. After all this success, Tom Holland was no longer only a young actor who played Spider-Man. He had become a global name, a face people recognized in almost every country. A young man who started from a dance class in England had now become one of the biggest stars in the world. But this is where his story becomes more personal. Because when a person becomes famous, the world sees the outside life. The red carpet, the expensive clothes, the movie premieres, the interviews, the millions of dollars, the beautiful houses, the famous friends, the relationship, the fans shouting his name. But behind that, there is still a real human being. And Tom Holland's life after Spider-Man shows both sides of fame, the exciting side and the heavy side. On one side, he had everything many young actors dream of. He had Marvel. He had international fame. He had money. He had opportunities. He had fans who loved him. He had the chance to work with huge actors and directors. But on the other side, his life became very public. People wanted to know everything about him: what he wore, where he went, who he dated, how much money he earned, what movie he was doing next, what he said in interviews. Even small mistakes became news. That is the price of fame. You get love from millions of people, but you also lose a part of your normal life. Tom has often looked like a person who enjoys his work, but also wants to protect his private world. He can be funny in interviews, he can joke, he can laugh, he can entertain people. But at the same time, he has tried to keep some parts of his life away from the public. And that makes sense, because being famous does not mean people own your whole life. An actor gives his work to the world, but his heart, his family, his private moments, and his peace still belong to him. After Spider-Man became huge, Tom also tried to prove that he was not only one character. This is difficult for many actors. When the world loves you as one role, people start seeing only that role. For Tom, that role was Spider-Man. Whenever people saw him, they thought of Peter Parker. But Tom also wanted to grow as an actor. So he worked in other projects. He acted in serious films. He acted in action-adventure films. He tried emotional roles. He tried darker roles. He tried to show that he could do more than swing between buildings. One of his serious projects was Cherry. In that film, he played a young man dealing with trauma, addiction, and crime. It was very different from Spider-Man. The movie itself received mixed reactions, but Tom's effort was clear. He wanted to take risks. He wanted to show a different side of himself. Then he played Nathan Drake in Uncharted. This was an adventure movie based on the famous video game series. The role needed action, humor, charm, and physical energy. For Tom, it was another step into becoming a leading man outside Marvel. Again, people had different opinions about the movie. Some liked it, some criticized it. But it showed that Tom was trying to build his own career beyond Spider-Man. And that is not easy. Because after a role as big as Spider-Man, every other movie gets compared. People ask, is this better than Spider-Man? Can he succeed without Marvel? Can he carry another franchise? That kind of pressure can be very heavy. But Tom continued. He did not disappear after Spider-Man. He kept trying. He kept choosing new work. He kept exploring. He also worked in the crowded room. This project was emotionally difficult for him. Tom has spoken about how intense that experience was. It affected him deeply because the character and story were heavy. After that period, he talked about needing rest and protecting his mental health. This showed a very honest side of him. Because many celebrities act like everything is perfect. But Tom admitted that work can affect your mind. He also spoke openly about sobriety. He has talked about leaving alcohol and how that changed his life. That was a mature step. Because in Hollywood, parties, alcohol, attention, and pressure are everywhere. But Tom chose to understand himself better. He chose to protect his health. He chose to take control of something personal. This made many fans respect him even more, because it showed that he was not only growing as an actor, he was growing as a person. Tom also entered the business world. He launched a non-alcoholic beer brand called Barrow. This was connected to his own sobriety journey. That is interesting because it shows how his personal life and business life connected. He did not only act in movies, he also started building something outside acting. This is common for big celebrities. After they become successful, they do not depend only on acting. They create brands, they invest, they produce, they build long-term income. And Tom slowly moved in that direction too. Now let us talk about his relationship with Zendaya. Tom Holland and Zendaya first met through Spider-Man. They played Peter Parker and MJ. At first, their connection was mainly seen through the movies. Fans loved their chemistry on screen. They looked natural together. They looked comfortable. They looked funny and sweet. Slowly, fans started wondering if they were also together in real life. For a long time, both of them kept their relationship private. They did not turn their love into public entertainment. They did not share every detail. They did not explain everything to everyone. And honestly, that is one reason many people respect them. Because their relationship became famous, but they still tried to protect it. In 2021, their relationship became more public after they were seen together romantically. After that, people started calling them one of the most loved Hollywood couples. But even then, they were careful. They supported each other. They appeared together sometimes. They spoke kindly about each other, but they did not make their whole relationship a show. That shows maturity. Because love under public attention is not easy. Normal couples already face problems. But famous couples face problems with millions of people watching. People create rumors. People judge pictures. People analyze body language. People make stories from small moments. So keeping privacy becomes important. By 2026, public reports said Tom and Zendaya had married privately. Tom also referred to Zendaya as his wife in interviews, which made fans emotional. For many people, it felt beautiful because they had watched them grow from Spider-Man co-stars to real-life partners. But even here, the most important thing is respect. They are public figures, but their relationship is still personal. So in a biography, we can say this clearly. Tom Holland and Zendaya's relationship became one of the most loved celebrity relationships because it felt real, private, respectful, and connected to a journey fans had watched for years. Now let us talk about his money and net worth. Tom Holland's exact net worth is not officially confirmed. Actors do not usually open their bank accounts to the public, so most numbers online are estimates. But many public estimates place Tom Holland's net worth around $25 million to $30 million in 2026. That money came from many sources: his Spider-Man movies, his Marvel appearances, his other films, his brand deals, his business projects, his production work, and his growing value as a global star. At the beginning of his Marvel journey, his salary was much smaller compared to the biggest Marvel stars. This is normal. He was young. He was new to the Marvel universe. But as his movies became bigger, his salary also grew. Public reports say he earned around $4 million for Spider-Man, Far From Home. For Spider-Man, No Way Home, reports often estimate his pay near $10 million. For Spider-Man Brand New Day, some reports estimate an even bigger payment. But again, these are not official studio numbers. They are public estimates. Still, the bigger truth is clear. Spider-Man changed Tom Holland's financial life forever. A boy who started in theater became a millionaire actor. A young dancer from England became one of Hollywood's most valuable names. But money is only one part of his story. Because if you look at Tom Holland carefully, his success is not only about dollars, it is about timing, training, personality, opportunity, hard work, and choosing the right role at the right moment. Now in 2026, Tom Holland returned again as Peter Parker in Spider-Man Brand New Day. For many fans, this was not just another superhero movie. It was the return of Tom Holland's Spider-Man after the emotional ending of No Way Home. At the end of No Way Home, Peter Parker was alone. The world had forgotten him. His friends did not remember him. MJ did not remember him. Ned did not remember him. He had lost his old life. So when Brand New Day arrived, fans wanted to know, what happens to Peter now? How does he live when nobody remembers him? Can he rebuild his life? Can he still be Spider-Man without the people who once knew him? That is why the title Brand New Day felt powerful. It was not only about a new movie, it was about a new chapter for Peter Parker, and also a new chapter for Tom Holland. because Tom was no longer the young actor who had just entered Marvel. He was older now, more experienced, more mature. He had lived through fame. He had lived through pressure. He had grown in his career. He had grown in his personal life. So when he returned as Spider-Man, fans were not only watching a superhero, they were watching an actor who had grown with the character. This is what makes Tom Holland's Spider-Man special. He did not only play Peter Parker once, he grew up with him, from Civil War to Homecoming, from Infinity War to Endgame, from Far From Home to No Way Home, and then to Brand New Day. His Spider-Man changed, and Tom changed too. That connection made fans feel close to him. The movie also became a huge event because Zendaya returned too. Their on-screen chemistry and real-life relationship made the public even more interested. People were not only watching Peter and MJ, they were watching Tom and Zendaya, two real people whose lives had become connected through this franchise. That gave the movie extra emotion for fans. By this point, Tom Holland had reached a rare place in Hollywood. He was still young, but he had already lived many lives in one career. The theater child, the dancer, the tsunami movie actor, the Marvel newcomer, the global Spider-Man, the millionaire star, the private partner, the businessman, the actor trying to protect his mental health, the person trying to stay human inside a very loud world. And maybe that is why people connect with him, because Tom Holland does not feel untouchable. He feels talented, but still human. Famous, but still a little shy sometimes. Successful, but still honest about pressure. Funny, but also serious when it matters. Rich, but not completely lost in ego. Loved by millions, but still protective of the people close to him. His story is not perfect. No real biography is perfect. He had struggles. He had pressure. He had criticism. Some projects worked better than others. Some choices were questioned. Some moments were difficult. But that is what makes his story real. A biography should not make someone look like a god. It should show the human journey. And Tom Holland's journey is a human journey. A boy found dance. Dance opened theater. Theater opened movies. Movies opened Marvel. Marvel opened the world. And the world gave him fame, money, pressure, love, criticism, attention, opportunity, and responsibility. Tom Holland's story is not only about becoming Spider-Man, it is about becoming someone the world did not expect at first. He was a boy from Kingston upon Thames, a boy with a creative family, a boy with brothers, a boy who had dyslexia, a boy who started dancing, a boy who trained for theater, a boy who performed live on stage, a boy who acted in serious films, a boy who dreamed of Spider-Man before it became real. And then one day, he became Spider-Man. But the most interesting part is this. The Spider-Man suit did not create Tom Holland. The suit revealed what years of training had already built. His dance gave him movement. His theater gave him discipline. His films gave him emotion. His family gave him grounding. His struggles gave him depth. His fame gave him pressure. And his choices shaped the man he became. Today, Tom Holland is one of the most recognized actors in the world. His estimated net worth is around $25 to $30 million. His relationship with Zendaya became one of the most loved celebrity stories in Hollywood. His Spider-Man movies became part of modern pop culture. And his 2026 movie Spider-Man, Brand New Day, showed that his journey as Peter Parker still has power, emotion, and huge fan love. But behind all the money, fame, and success, His story still begins with something very simple. A boy dancing, a boy trying, a boy training, a boy not knowing that one small beginning would lead to the biggest role of his life. And that is the real beauty of Tom Holland's biography. Sometimes life is preparing you long before the world notices you. Sometimes your small talent is not small. Sometimes your childhood passion becomes your future. Sometimes the dream you speak about quietly becomes the life you live loudly. This is the biography of Tom Holland, the boy before the superhero, the actor behind the mask, the young man who became Spider-Man, and the human being still learning how to live beyond the fame.